Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the dawning starts in about 5 days time. In today's video, my cat is licking my forearm. And in today's video, we're going to be going over all of the leaks regarding this event. Of course, 2020's dawning is going to have a lot of new stuff comparatively to the last dawning. And for those of you guys that do not know what the dawning is, it's basically Destiny's Christmas event where they bring a bunch of cosmetics into the game. Grandma rolls around, she gives you an oven, you bake some gifts, and you give them to vendors all across Destiny. Now in today's video, I'm going to be cutting it up into parts. So we're going to be going over the armor first, then the cosmetics, then the weapons, and then some quest stuff. Now, before I do jump into today's video, I do want to mention that my code at gfuel.com is 30% off in like probably 3 hours from this video getting uploaded. Aaron is on my desk. Those guys that don't know, I donate 100% of the proceeds made from my code to St. Jude Children's Hospital. So if you've tried G Fuel before and you want to re-up or you want to try it for the first time, feel free to use code NUT at gfuel.com. But guys, let's go and jump into the video and let's talk about all of the new stuff coming in the dawning, starting with the most important stuff, the armor. Right here, we have a look at the Hunter's armor for this dawning, and I'm just going to go and show you guys the Hunter, Titan, and the Warlock. And honestly, in my own personal opinion for this armor, I think that the armor looks pretty cool, but I don't exactly see it looking all that great when you're mixing and matching it with other pieces, which is something that I can't say the same about from last year's dawning armor. I feel like that dawning armor is probably the best that we've ever had, including Destiny 1. And this armor does look great, but I'm just not sure how it's going to look in-game when mixing it with a bunch of other stuff. But those are the concept arts for the armor, which was actually released by Bungie as part of a charity incentive. Now let's go and move on over to the cosmetic side of things, taking a look at the Glee Barrage Xenophage ornament, which this right here is probably the best ornament that the Xenophage is ever going to get, and the best ornament actually that we have in the dawning. We only have one other ornament, which is actually for the Monte Carlo, and it's called the Merry Maker, and it does look really good. Unfortunate though that it is on Monte Carlo, and that definitely does not get as much use as Xenophage, but both these weapons look really cool, but Xenophage definitely takes the cake. Moving on from that, we got some more Eververse stuff in the form of the Silver Wing Kestrel ship. This ship right here does look really cool, although I really don't advise you to buy this because the actual reward that you get for free for this year's dawning is going to be a ship, and we'll talk more about that whenever we get to the quest side of the video. Moving on from that, we actually have a ghost shell known as the Tangled Shell, which looks really good. It looks like it's going to have some Christmas lights wrapped around it, and I hope that they do light up in game because that'll make this a definite purchase for me. Moving on from that, we have the Emberwick shell, which is basically a candle shell, and you can see at the top it has a nice little, I believe, dawning logo or something like that for a flame, so that looks really nice as well. Moving on from that, we have the Little Helper shell. Honestly, I hate this ghost shell with a passion. It just looks so punchable to me. But there is the Little Helper shell. Moving on from that, we have the Polar Prancer Sparrow, which honestly is probably the coolest looking sparrow from this year's. But then again, we have the Gift Giver, which is literally a sparrow with engrams in the back of the sparrow. So while I think the Prancer looks a bit better, it does not come with that engram inventory, and that looks pretty sick. Although I feel as though both of these sparrows are pretty much instantly outmatched by the Mirth Mobile Sparrow. Yes, this right here is one of the best sparrows I've ever seen in my life. Maybe not from a design standpoint, but from the way that I'm going to look riding it, which that sounds weird, I think this is definitely worth your purchase. Now, moving on from this, we actually have the weapons for this year's dawning. The new weapon that is coming is actually a fusion rifle known as the Glacioclasm fusion rifle, and this is going to be a high impact frame fusion rifle, and here are the perks that you can get on it on screen, and honestly, it does look like a pretty decent fusion rifle, especially for something like PvP. You can get roles like Ambitious Assassin, Surplus, Killing Wind, and in the second slot, stuff like Demolitionist, Swashbuckler, Auto-Loading, and High Impact Reserve. So it does seem like a pretty decent fusion. Fusion rifles in PvP are actually very useful, so if anything, you will be able to use this against your fellow Guardians, but it doesn't seem all that bad. Aside from that, the two other weapons from the Dawning's past are going to be making a return in the form of the Cold Front SMG, like you saw in today's thumbnail, as well as the Avalanche Light Machine Gun. So those are the two other weapons. They do have new perks that are going to be coming with them, some of the new Beyond light perks, but currently the API is showing some perks that are impossible to roll on these weapons, and it's kind of similar to what happened during Festival of the Lost with the Braytech Werewolf, so we're gonna have to wait and see before I can really give you a definitive list on what kind of perks you can get on these. Now, moving on from that, we actually have this year's free reward from the Dawning, so we're gonna go ahead and move on into the quest territory for this video. We have the Starfarer 7M, and this ship right here looks sick. It looks way better than the ship that we saw earlier, and this one is free. It actually does come with an exotic ship upgrade, so it looks like you're gonna have to do a bit of a quest to upgrade this ship, and if you do take a look right here, you can actually see that it's gonna have 3 different options for you to actually make upgrades, and from the one that we can see here, we got like a mint, rose, and I believe it's cocoa. It says equip this engine to change the visual effect behind the Starfarer 7M, which is a pretty nice touch for a free ship. Now, the last thing that we have to talk about here in the quest section is actually the Gift Abundance Mager, something like that, exotic quest, and it says, as a community, raise humanity's dawning spirit. Bake dead candy ghosts and deliver to Spider in the Tangled Shore. The people are struggling, but give them what they can. And you can see right here all of the quest steps. So you have Speak with Ava, you have the modest one, adequate, generous, overflowing, everything like that. Looks like it's going to be a pretty big quest for the entirety of the community to do and kind of come together and complete. And right here you can actually see the gifts that you get from it. You get the meager dawning present, the modest dawning present, the adequate dawning present, generous dawning present, and overflowing dawning present. Each one of these are a different tier depending on what step of the quest you are on. So if I had to guess, this is maybe the overflowing dawning present might be where you get the ship from, but I am not entirely sure 100%. Or maybe the generous one is where you get the fusion rifle. Not entirely sure, but we will know whenever it does launch in about 5 days. But guys, that is pretty much it for this video and all of the leaks and all the information about the Dawning in terms of the armor, the cosmetics, the weapons, and the quest stuff. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below of what you saw. In my opinion, I feel like these cosmetics are pretty juicy that we're going to be seeing, and do keep in mind that when Ava Levante shows up in the tower, she will be coming with more weekly bounties for you to do, which means more Bright Dust overall, which means buying free cosmetics. So make sure that you do take advantage of that, as well as your season pass Bright Dust. But guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.